The backlog. Money to spend and too many good games to buy. I can't think of a better problem for a gamer to have. Games you purchased, maybe during a sale, that you put on the shelf and just haven't gotten to. Or worse, downloaded and just never booted up. Or worse, bought but never even downloaded. Yeah, I have a few. It all started with Chrono Trigger. Funny story with this one. I didn't know it existed before the day I bought it. After saving up for months, maybe years, I was finally ready to buy a Super Nintendo, mostly from cash I'd saved up from doing odd jobs for my parents. It was to be my first home console. I'd had a Game Boy for a few years already, which I never developed a backlog for because I played the crap out of every precious game I got my mitts on. But a home console was different. It wasn't just a distraction I could occupy myself with when out of the house. It was something you purposefully sat down to play, indoors, and on all the sunny summer afternoons I could get away with, and my parents weren't rushing out to encourage that kind of activity. It was one thing to give me a distraction while waiting for my sister's dance lesson to be over, and another to encourage being glued to the living room TV. And I had 3 sisters. They all danced. My parents had seen me play my grandpa's original NES during summer vacations, and it's all I wanted to do until my hands bled. So I needed to get this one myself, and I had saved just enough to get the SNES with one game. I wanted Super Mario World. Seemed like a safe bet. Mario was there with me on the Game Boy, he was there with me at my grandpa's, and I'd played the game at friends' houses. I already knew I liked it. I wanted to finally own it and beat it. I don't remember exactly why I didn't get it. Maybe they didn't have it in stock, maybe it was too expensive. But somehow I let the guy at the game store convince me that Chrono Trigger was the best game out there. That's the game to get if I can only have one game. I was like 9 years old and I had never played an RPG before. I got home, plugged it in, turned it on, and I just didn't understand. I think I got it used and it didn't come with an instruction booklet. And this was long before the internet was within arm's reach at all times. I hated it. It was just menus. Nothing to jump over, nothing to jump on. And there was reading. So much reading. My Super Nintendo got most of its use after that from renting games from my local Blockbuster, which was less than a 10-minute walk away. It wouldn't have been too long after buying my Super NES that I would have first read about the N64 and Nintendo Power, and once I saw what was on the horizon, I found it hard to save up my pennies for more SNES games. And I certainly wasn't motivated to play Chrono Trigger when I knew a 3D Mario game was coming. Still, I've gone back and played Chrono Trigger plenty of times over the years, starting over each time, but I always gave up partway through when I got distracted by another game. I've always intended to complete at least one playthrough of the game, so it's part of my backlog to this day. I even purchased it again on the Wii Virtual Console, so it's doubly on my backlog. I don't think I even opened it once on the Wii. But what games count towards a backlog, and what games just exist? Why is Chrono Trigger on my backlog, but A Bug's Life? Not so much. Well, I didn't buy this, and I don't even know how I have it. I have a vague memory of my older sister buying this, but she never played it, so it's on her backlog. Anyway, rules. We need rules. A criteria system for determining what games are on the backlog and what games are just available. Criterion 1. Did I buy it, or was it free? If I purchased a game with the intention to play it, it's part of the backlog. Doesn't matter if I got it in a sale, if I spent my hard-earned money and I haven't played it, it's on the list. If it was free, like every game I've acquired in the Epic Store, or I have access to it through a service like Nintendo Switch Online or Game Pass, or it came part as a bundle with something I actually wanted, like Namco Museum coming with games that aren't Pac-Man Versus, those games are not on the list. Criterion 2. Have I tried it, and does it suck? If I've put time into a game and just haven't enjoyed it, I do not need to beat it. I definitely don't need to 100% complete any game I'm not super into. Games leave the list when I'm satisfied with what I've played or I'm just not having fun. Which is why Shenmue is not on the list. Fuck this game. Criterion 3. Is it all about the multiplayer? If I bought a game to play online or in person with friends, the single player means nothing to me. Like All-Star Baseball 99. This game is actually fun with friends, at least it was, from what I can remember. If I haven't even tried it with friends, it's part of the backlog, like Pokken Tournament, or if there's a single player component that I want to play through but haven't, then it's also part of the backlog, like Splatoon 2. And that's it. I don't need to feel bad about not playing games that I haven't paid for, games that suck, or the single-player components of multiplayer games. And with that, it's time for a spreadsheet. But first, please toggle the like button for the YouTube math machine. Please leave a comment about your backlog. Please subscribe if you're new. Please share this video with a friend or relevant community. Thank you. Step 1. Identify and catalog. I'm going to make a list of my entire collection, not just the games on my backlog. It's so many games at this point, I'm only going to forget more and more as time goes on, so having a master list could be nice. I'm including games I've lost or sold just to hold the memory somewhere. Step 2. Classify. Each game will fall into one of the following categories. 100% complete. For games I've simply crushed and done everything I could do in the game. This is within reason and according to me, but I don't use this classification lightly. Beat. Essentially, I've completed the main plot of the game on any difficulty. I typically play a game on normal for my first playthrough, but I'm not a difficulty snob. Games are for having fun, after all. Beat before. This is for older games I've repurchased on newer consoles, like Super Metroid on the Wii U. I 100% completed this game on the SNES, so the Wii U version is classified as beat before. Moved on. I've played the game, but decided it wasn't worth playing anymore, or I watched the game being played by a friend and don't care to play it myself. I've moved on. Or I just don't care about it in general. Looking at you, Bugs Life. Incomplete. I've started the game, but haven't moved on. I'm not never playing it again, and I would like to explore it further. Unplayed. I own it, I want to try it, but I just haven't. So many of these games on the Switch. Play forever. These are games that I may never beat, but I also may never stop playing, mostly because they're really fun with friends. This category is mostly just to remind myself of the fun multiplayer games, for the most part. Step 3. Consolidate. The incomplete and unplayed games get put on the backlog list so I can easily see what games I want to give attention to. And with the list complete, it seems here I've got 119 games on my backlog. I don't know how it got so out of hand. I think the only way to tackle a list like this is to start at the beginning, so I'm finally going to play through and beat Chrono Trigger. Let me know in the comments if I've inspired you to compile your own backlog list, or if it's better not to know such things. And come hang out on Twitch when I'm live. I'll probably be streaming most if not all of these games as I chip my way through the list. And throw this video a like if you're still here, and subscribe if you want to watch more. I don't need to beat all of these games, and I really doubt that I will. Some will simply be deemed as mistake purchases, and I'll play them and I'll move on. But it will be good to know that I at least gave them a fair shake, since I did spend money on them. Maybe one day I'll even have a clean slate. We've got good news about one or more items on your wish list. God damn it.